Hello and welcome to this week's Tharstern Techchat. I'm really pleased to be joined by our workflow solutions specialist today, John Murphy. Hi John, how are you?
Morning Ross, how are we?
Yeah, very good, thank you, very good indeed. So John, I just wanted to follow up on the past couple of tech chats that we've done. In the first one, we looked at how we can streamline getting the artwork and managing that being in a central place. The second one, we then looked at the pre-fighting workflow and how we can automate that and make sure that the artwork that we're getting is what we're expecting and managing that if it's not. So I thought we'd perhaps as the next one, it will make sense to look at, well, now we've got the artwork, how do we get it approved? Because we all know that that is a big challenge for lots of people in terms of getting that approval process, and trying to make that as simple and as easy as possible is got to be helpful. So I was just wondering if you could share with us your suggestions of how we can move to the next step and get the artwork approved.
Yes, sure. So it's interesting, really. There are all pre-press workflows. A lot of the digital workflows, a lot of generic workflows all have remote approval systems, and some of them are awesome. Some of them are slightly less than awesome, but actually, fundamentally, they all do a job. They all do a job, and actually, you'd argue should be more widely used within the industry. And typically, when I come and speak to customers, they fall under two brackets. They're either all our jobs are remote approved. Okay, it's a company policy. If you want to do business with us, this is the way we do it. And they've done that and rolled out their customers, which is great, absolutely great. And then you get other people that, well, they don't really have that relationship with their customers, and they do a wider range of products of it. And so the other ones are, I've got a handful of people who use it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but nothing else. I find very few sites where you go out there where you got sort of 65 or 70% of people using it, which is a shame, is a real shame. So. And this can be for a number of reasons, really, Ross. I mean, predominantly, I think people are averse to clicking that green tick because they think that if something goes wrong with it, that they're gonna be the ones who are responsible for are going to be responsible for that particular issue and it going to press. And a lot of people will look for excuses and opportunities just to not click it, and then once they've not clicked it, we'll just do it manually. We'll go back the way it was before. It's just too complicated. So one of the things that I always encourage people to do really is don't think of the remote approval system as something that is a customer facing tool, as an internal communication tool. Just set it up. So we encourage people to say, whatever your remote approval system is, it doesn't matter what it is, just use it as an internal tool. So when the customer phones you or emails you and says, that proof you just did for me is fine, then you as the account handler then logs into that job and approves it on their behalf. So this helps in two ways, really. First way is you now have a workflow, actually three ways. You now have a workflow. You click a button and something happens, which is exactly what we want to do, whether that's an imposed proof or a milestone update or something changing color on a scheduling board or something's going to happen as a result, or a couple of things are going to happen as a result of it, which is great. You never know, you might hit that approval button and the plate's output, or the imposed PDF's getting a digital device. It could do that. There's no reason why it couldn't do. So that's one big win. So the second big win is that you're saving time from an administrative point of view. The guys aren't writing that down and then for somebody else to read it and use it. You doing it is triggering that within the workflow. And the third thing is that you're actually creating a custom customer support desk for that when you choose to roll it out to your customers. So if you imagine the way it would go is like, right, here's that job, all right, it's not going to be ready until 9 o'clock tonight, you need to approve it. If I send you a link, Mr. Customer, can you approve those pages for me? And then if there's any problems with it, they can answer them straight away, and you can then sort of organically sort of grow it out into your customer base and start getting more people on board. If you don't have that sort of direct point contact, it's all done by the guy in the studio, you phone up, I don't know what button to press, what's going on, all right, I'll get Jeremy to call you back in 20 minutes. The moment is lost, it's gone. It's only really if it's the person who's doing it is talking to the person on the other end is that you'll be able to answer those questions instantly, overcome the challenges and keep the customer on board, keep them going. And then you've got to report on it. You've got to report on how many of your customers are using this remote approval and make it a clear goal, that our goal is to get it from 20% up to 40%, 40% up to 60%, up to whenever it is. And it is a challenge. There's no two ways about it. But regardless of whether the customer clicks the button or whether the account handler clicks the button, the workflow still exists and still works. So you're still getting the gains of it, even if you're doing 2 clicks to make the workflow work instead of 1. And it's certainly better than nothing, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's probably some hidden benefits there as well of your suggestion there, John, of the like the account manager or the customer services managing that process, because they are the ones that are closest to that customer, generally speaking. So they are the best ones to start introducing this concept to the customers and gradually getting them on board as well.
Absolutely.
So I think you're absolutely right. Well, that's really cool. So we've kind of got 3 steps there of the workflow that we can streamline and automate from getting the artwork and managing it to for the content delivery, to pre-fighting it and making sure it's what we expect it to be, and automating that process, and then firing out an approval mechanism as well that could be used internally and over the time grown to be used externally too.
Absolutely.
I like it. So thank you very much for that, John. If you have any questions about what we've talked about today, then please do get in touch. And if you have any questions or ideas you'd like us to answer in the Tharstern Tech Chat, then please do meet us in the comments below. Thanks, everyone.